The Old Ways event is about a week old now, so I figured it was time that I came in and gave my impressions on what's changed on the town takeover, just in brief. This video is sponsored by EA. For those that have not yet seen it, the new town takeover exists right outside of Skyhook on what was the old Sniper Hill, where you had those pills that had guaranteed sniper weapons and attachments and ammo inside of them. Those are now halfway gone and have been replaced by a town takeover inside of the mountain, which is shown off by 4 gigantic stone ravens carved into the mountain. The goal here is very simple. Get inside, use one of the 3 consoles to activate one of Bloodhound's trials or challenges. In this trial, you'll be asked to fight a handful of Prowlers, which are these large, angry dog-looking like creatures which will jump and pounce on you. They're very fast, they're very mean, very angry. They deal a pretty good bit of damage, and if you get caught in a bad position and they bump you into a corner, or they just completely swarm you, you'll die. A lot. I know, because it happens to me more often than not, and they make me very scared. So be careful with them. What you'll get from completing all 3 waves is 3 separate little loot. I don't even know what to call them. These stone statues will open up and reveal some loot that is on the inside. My feedback on this event in general is that you probably shouldn't bother doing this, to be honest. You probably shouldn't rotate to this spot usually. Reason being is that more often than not, and this is totally subjective and not based in any kind of real fact, just totally from my experience, I have almost never found more than 1 suit of armor in all 3 of the things combined. The loot quality from these seems to not be quite good enough. Sometimes I've seen some gold knockdowns, a couple of gold helmets. I've even one time seen a gold armor, but apart from that, I generally don't happen to get good loot when I go there. So it is a very high risk area to drop. There usually seems to be more than 1 team dropping there. And even if there aren't, it's very common that multiple teams will drop into Skyhook. And if someone is on the side of Skyhook that is closest to this town takeover and they hear you doing all the challenges, which by the way will take you a couple minutes to complete, they can hear it going on and simply run at you with more standardized, potentially better loot, and certainly better health values, and come and kill you, finish the challenges themselves, and take all your stuff. So this does not seem to be a high-value drop-in location. This appears to be more of a place where you drop next to it, and then you try to rotate in if you feel that it's safe, or if you are kitted out well enough to kill whoever might already be in there. My other advice would be not to drop directly down the hole and start the challenge right away. I think what you should do is drop near it, either into Skyhook, on top of the hill with those 3 other pills that are next to it, or behind it, with some of the other pills that are scattered around the swamp area back there. You can get a pretty decent bit of loot to then rotate in and fight with, or simply rotate somewhere else to get loot elsewhere, and maybe come back later, and maybe not. One other potential solution, which you could try, that I've never attempted myself, would be to drop straight down the hole, start the challenge right away, and then immediately just book it. Don't even try to complete it, just get the dogs running around so they will fight your opponents, and then that's it. You can just play games with closing and opening the big door over and over and just get pot shots at your opponents that are now having to fight the dogs that are holding, that are just running at them. That could be a potential solution, a potential tactic you can employ, but this seems to be a highly dangerous area with loot that is not guaranteed. And because it's not guaranteed and you're rolling the dice on what could easily just insta-lose you the game, is that really worth it? In my opinion, no. However, is that really that much different than landing much elsewhere in the game? What if you want to go to Skulltown? What if you go to the Mirage Voyage, where 100 teams are going to land anyways? Is it really that different? Probably not. So really, it is ultimately up to your choice. Personally, I don't see myself dropping there too much, but if you do, I hope that some of the tips that I have given can help you to perhaps succeed a little bit more frequently. In terms of the other changes that have happened with this update, I know there's a lot. I only really want to touch on 2 of them so far. The rest I still need a lot more time of playing to really get a good feel on, so I'm just going to talk about the low profile changes and then the Revenant change. So for low profile, this is, if you were to believe the people online, a massive, huge, ridiculously undeserved nerf for Wraith and Lifeline and Pathfinder, and I only slightly agree. I think the nerf is pretty justified on Wraith specifically because she's already so short and her legs are so small anyways that it's not really a big deal, and it just makes you do more consistent damage to the smallest, best hitbox in the game, so I'm fine with that. But on the other end of the scale, I think that hurts Pathfinder more than it should. I don't know that that's the nerf I wanted to see happening to Pathfinder to bring him more in line. It really hurts my soul. I just don't know if that was quite correct because his legs are like seemingly 2/3 the size of Wraith, give or take. I mean, his legs are pretty big, so that just means, like, sure, he's skinny, but his torso is still pretty long, so I don't know. I need more time to really evaluate that one for sure, but I think that on Pathfinder specifically, I'm not a big fan of the change, so I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, because I'd love to hear your opinions. Finally, for Revenant, I am a huge fan of the changes. My first impressions were that he was probably overbuffed and made too good. I think they gave his silence ability too many things. I still kind of think that's true. I don't necessarily think that he's overpowered or an S-tier legend, but I think that he probably shouldn't have as much benefit from the Q as he does. I would say if he's going to have a 20-second duration on it, then they probably should only give him 1 charge, or they can do the reverse and keep the 2 charges but have the duration. Because currently 1 hit from your silence, just completely removing a Gibraltar or a Wraith or a Pathfinder from using their main parts of their kit for 20 seconds, that's just so impactful for an ability that is so easy to hit on such a short cooldown and that you get 2 charges of. I think that's personally just a bit too much. So hopefully once Season 5 drops, something about him there gets addressed. And this is coming from, like, Revenant #1 fanboy. Like, I really do think that they should alter that silence just a little bit, because I think it's doing too much right now. The overall Legend performance may not necessarily agree with nerfing him, but just from that fundamental standpoint, I really feel like that should be brought down a little bit. Maybe something else is done instead to bring him up. If needed, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what the metrics say and what all of the respawn stats say. But anyways, everyone, thank you all for watching. Hope you had a fun time. Hope you learned something new. If nothing else, hope you enjoyed the gameplay clips, and I will see you all next time. Take care.